Texas, a land of stunning landscapes and vibrant culture. But beneath this beauty lurks one of the most notorious prison gangs, the Mexikanemi, also known as the Texas Mexican Mafia. From its roots in the 1980s, this gang has spread its influence inside and outside the prison walls. This is their story. Since the end of 1950s, Texas prisons have long been under the grip of prison gangs. These gangs that initially started as protection groups have long morphed to become dangerous militias, and they will not hesitate to kill if any way you become their obstacles. Prisoners gangs fully had the Texas prison system on chokehold after the collapse of the building tender system. I know you're wondering what is the building tender system. In the 1980s, prison guards had to find a way to manage the large inmate population. So they selected certain inmates to monitor and control the rest. These inmates were called building tenders. The building tenders were hardcore criminals who took no prisoners, pun intended. Their job was to keep the peace among inmates since most of the tenders were white. Mexican American prisoners were treated as second-class individuals. This harsh treatment angered the Mexican Americans. When the building tender system was eliminated, a power vacuum emerged, and power-hungry prisoners saw this as an opportunity to form gangs to protect their interests. From this void, the Texas Mexican Mafia began to emerge. In 1984, Heriberto Huerta and Jose Lopez founded La M after getting permission from the original Mexican Mafia in California. Their mission was to unite Mexican American inmates, giving them a better chance to defend themselves against predators like the Texas Syndicate, a ruthless gang terrorizing Mexican Americans in Texas prisons. At first, the Mexikanemi was about protection, but it quickly turned into a predatory force. They started dealing in drug smuggling, extortion, and even contract killings, and their allies didn't sit well with the Texas Syndicate. The rivalry escalated into a bloody war, with 52 gang members killed in just 21 months. So who are the Mexikanemi? When Huerta founded the Mexikanemi, he rooted it in Aztec and Mexican culture. That's why you'll often hear them refer themselves as the soldiers of Aztlan. To this day, the Mexikanemi worship the gods of the Aztecs and see themselves as modern-day warriors, and their tattoos worn like badges of honor reflect this culture. San Antonio, rich in Aztec history, serves as their spiritual capital. Recruitment into the Mexikanemi relies heavily on Aztec pride. They lure young Hispanic men by reminding them of their heritage and promising a role in rebuilding the Aztec Empire. And joining is not simple. You need a referral, what they call the homeboy connection. A prospective member must be vouched for by an active member, usually a childhood friend. Once approved, recruits undergo a background check and are closely monitored by their sponsor. If a recruit betrays a gang, it's the sponsor's job to eliminate them. In the early years, leaving the gang was unheard of. The only way out was death. To prove loyalty, members had to commit violent acts, following the blood in, blood out rule. If anyone tried to leave, they will be eliminated. Similar to the Texas Syndicate and other gangs, the Mexikanemi hierarchy is organized along paramilitary lines. At the peak is the president, who is the general leader of all Texas Mexican mafias, followed by the vice president. Next, we have the generals who cover certain regions, followed by the lieutenants and sergeants. At the bottom, that's where you'll find soldiers and associates. The current president is Heriberto Huerta, who has been in prison since 1994 and has been running the organization from his prison cell in the Supermax Federal Penitentiary in Florence, Colorado. Labeled as a dangerous criminal, Huerta is housed for 23 hours and only gets 1 hour outside while under heavy security. Even with his access to the rest of the world he did, he still oversees the operations of the Mexikanemi. Gang members who think of toppling Huerta as their de facto leader will easily get eliminated by Huerta's allies. Such is the trust that these gang members have on whom they perhaps refer as their god. As of 2017, Huerta was seeking a total of $4.5 million in compensatory and punitive damages, alleging his imprisonment was under false charges. A detailed constitution first drafted by Heriberto in 1991 still guides how this Texas Mexican Mafia gang thrives. It's in here that they'll detail that no one is above Mexikanemi, and everything is done to ensure the growth of the prison gang. Here's a snippet of the constitution. Any member of the Mexikanemi, no matter if he be the president, vice president, general, captain, lieutenant, sergeant, or soldier who violates the rules of Mexikanemi must pay and suffer the consequences. Above all else, we are all equal, and it's necessary that we all participate to the best of our ability in order to be able to advance and make progress through Mexikanemi. The Mexikanemi often rely on engaging in illegal activities to fund their operations, the most intense criminal activity being drug trafficking. While in prison, the gang's source of drugs will be prison staff, more so those who are young or inexperienced. More so, this gang has gone far as creating ties with gangs like Sinaloa cartel, with the US and Mexico government now going full ballistic on narcotics trafficking business. The Mexikanemi has channeled its energy to other revenue streams, and it's perhaps why the constitution states, being a criminal organization, we work in any criminal aspect of interest for the benefit and advancement of Mexikanemi. We shall deal in drugs, contract killing, prostitution, large-scale robbery, gambling to weapons, and everything imaginable. Well, such strong words in their constitution display how the gang is ready to do anything possible to ensure the empire remains strong. These mafias also have a ruthless way to deal with or control anyone engaging in any illegal activity, and it's by what they call the daime or el daime. Under this system, all of San Antonio's cartels must pay 10% of the sale to the organization. That's an unquestionable tax that you have to pay to this gang, and it all depends on how they value your business. Refusing to pay the dime will have you butchered or your business raided by the gang. It's even rumored that the gang will encourage you not to pay the dime so that it can set an example with you. In 2015, the state of Texas executed a Mexican mafia, Manuel Vasquez, for the 1998 murder of 51-year-old Juanita Yebra in San Antonio. Vasquez and his two associates had been instructed by his boss Munoz to murder Juanita Yebra for failing to pay the El Dime. Vasquez used a telephone call to strangle Juanita to death. So far, law enforcement agencies have not let this mafia to continue spreading terror to Texas citizens. Each day they seek ways they can dismantle the group. Across Texas and the United States, these agents have employed various tactics to weaken the Mexikanemi grip on criminal activities both inside and outside prison walls. Over the years, these efforts have included major arrests, sting operations, and leveraging informants. One of the most significant operations occurred in 2013 when a massive federal crackdown led to the indictment of 34 Mexikanemi members on charges ranging from racketeering to drug trafficking. This operation led by the FBI was a culmination of years of intelligence gathering, surveillance, and coordination with state and local law enforcement. The arrest disrupted the gang's drug smuggling networks and significantly weakened their leadership structure. Another effective law enforcement strategy has been the use of informants. These individuals, often former gang members seeking leniency for their own crimes, have provided valuable inside information. For example, Rene Hernandez, a former lieutenant of the Mexikanemi, cooperated with the authorities and exposed the gang's financial operations, recruitment strategies, and internal conflicts. His testimonial was instrumental in securing convictions of high-ranking members and dismantling several of the gang's operations. Additionally, law enforcement has focused on cutting off the gang's financial lifelines, such as drug profits and extortion fees, by targeting their money laundering operations and intercepting drug shipments. Authorities have managed to limit the gang's ability to fund their activities. Lastly, prison reforms have been implemented to reduce gang influence behind bars. These measures include isolating gang leaders in supermax facilities to prevent them from communicating with their followers, as well as conducting frequent shakedowns to confiscate contraband like cell phones, which are often used to orchestrate crimes from within prison walls. Despite these efforts, the Mexikanemi remains a formidable force. However, the combined pressure from federal, state, and local law enforcement continues to disrupt the operations and bring their members to justice. Despite the efforts of law enforcement, the Mexikanemi continues to live. Will this shadow empire ever be dismantled, or will its legacy of fear and control persist for generations? What are your thoughts on gangs like the Mexikanemi? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more gripping crime stories.